This is Sarah Hollister from Achieving the Dream, and this is a webinar to go over the Leader College recertification process for the 2012 academic year. And I think, first of all, I just want to check and make sure that everyone can hear me okay. I know you have on the side, you have a little control panel. Can you just raise your hand if you're able to hear me just fine? Great. Great. It looks like pretty much people can hear me. Right now, everyone else is in listen-only mode. So when we get to the questions section of the presentation, I'll be able to unmute people to go ahead and ask questions. You will want to make sure that you put your audio pin in. I see that some of you haven't put in your audio pin. So just be sure that that audio pin is activated, and that will make it so that we can call on you and have you answer or ask your question. In addition, you can raise your hand and to ask a question, or put it in the chat or question pane that's on this side of your panel as well. So I also want to introduce the other Achieving the Dream staff that are on the call. We have Carol Lincoln, our Senior Vice President, and Meredith Hatch, another Associate Director of Programs, and Kennard Shirley is recording this for everyone to watch again if it's that enthralling, or for those that can't join us today. So as I said, this webinar is for colleges that will be applying for recertification, and that means that you have reached your third year as a Leader College. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Great. So the agenda today is just to kind of give a little bit of background about Achieving the Dream Leader College designation, which you all probably know very well, being the first cohort. Briefly go over the Leader College review team, and talk to you a little bit about the recommendations that this team gave regarding the recertification process. Go over the Leader College recertification application itself, and then, of course, get any questions and feedback from you. There are quite a bit of components to the application, so I'm going to ask that you hold your questions till the end. If you'd like to type your question into the question pane or the chat pane, go ahead, and then we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. But I think that it would be beneficial for us to go through the entire presentation first in case your question is going to be answered. Great. So a little background on Leader Colleges. In 2009, Achieving the Dream began awarding the Leader College designation. This is based on two areas of criteria: improvement on at least one of Achieving the Dream's student outcome measures, and then the practice criteria, which is measured by the coaches assessment of the colleges, which is done every year as part of the college's annual review. As a reminder, this is a 3-year designation, so all of the colleges that are on this call today should be from the 2009 cohort. And as you know, in 2009, 21 colleges were awarded Leader College status, 8 colleges in 2010, 23 colleges in 2011, and we will hopefully within the next few weeks be announcing our 2012 cohort of Leader Colleges. So these colleges, then you do not have to apply for recertification. And you're more than welcome to stay online with us, but you do not have to. But I think everyone, from what I can see on this call, it is related to a college that is up for recertification. So just a little bit of background about this recertification application. It comes based on the recommendations of a Leader College review team. So in January of this year, ATD formed a Leader College review team that was charged with reviewing and revising the process for initial Leader College status, as well as recommending a recertification process. And the review team members are academic, student affairs professionals, IR representatives, and campus leaders from a variety of our Leader College campuses. And a good number of them were from the 2009 cohort. So many of you, some of you on this call may have even been part of the Leader College review team. So they really did work very, very hard. They reviewed the initial Leader College designation, and then they also, again, looked at the recertification process. This group was led by Karen Stout, who is the president of one of our Leader Colleges, the Montgomery County Community College in Pennsylvania. And I do just want to thank the review team for the amazing job that they did. You know, there are, as you know, many components to the Leader College application process, and they really looked at every piece and spent a significant amount of time to look at this process. So basically what the review team found and recommended in terms of recertification was they really felt that the current Leader College framework is relevant for the 2012 recertification process. You know, there could be changes moving forward, but for this recertification process, they really felt that the Leader College framework was very relevant. They did add some minimum requirements for some additional criteria. And they also recommended that colleges complete the coach evaluation as a self-assessment. And we'll get to that self-assessment later on in the presentation. And finally, they felt that there were two areas that weren't perhaps captured by the coach assessment that they thought would be useful to have input from the coaches on. And this is regarding innovation and leading. So two very simple questions about how the college has been able to innovate over the past 3 years and how the college has been able to lead within the Achieving the Dream network. So you can see the full recommendations on the Leader College review team site. And when I send out this PowerPoint afterwards, there will be a link to that through this PowerPoint. So the Leader College recertification application, it includes several pieces, as I mentioned. One is the application narrative, which I ask that you submit as a PDF without pages 1 to 11. So that's the narrative that you've downloaded from the Leader College recertification site. And then there's an Excel template, and this includes 3 tabs. The first one is where you will enter updated contact information, and that's just to really help us make sure that we have the right people and contacts in our database. The second tab is the first data chart. So this is where you will enter data on one student success outcome measure. And then the next tab is where you will enter data on the second student success outcome measure. And these charts are different than previous applications that perhaps you've seen from Achieving the Dream. These templates are really an effort for us to get some standard data from the colleges so that we can really see the trend lines. We've set it up in an Excel format in the hopes that it would be easier for you to enter the data. But of course, this is the first time we're doing this. So as you're working through this process, we really do want your feedback about how these Excel templates work for you. And then third, you have your college self-assessment, which is the coach tool that is used by the coaches and that the colleges will be filling out as a self-assessment. Now, I just want to go into a little bit of detail about the criteria parts of the application. So the criteria for practice, as I said, will be measured by the coach assessment tool. And the coach assessment tool is really the self-assessment college tool that you have, you are able to download from the website. It's the exact same tool. And this was completed by all coaches for the 2012 annual report review. So the coaches, Achieving the Dream has the assessments that the coaches have turned in, and no further action will be required of the coaches or colleges regarding this piece of the application. As I mentioned, there are some minimums that we've set for certain criteria, and you can see a list of those on page 8 of the application instructions. I want to emphasize that this is a evolving process, and that it's a new process, obviously. So we are willing to work with colleges, as on all parts of the application. We're really trying to get a complete picture here. If for some reason a college falls below a minimum on a certain criteria, whether it's in the coach assessment or the college making its own self-assessment, that doesn't mean that they're automatically ruled out as being recertified for Leader College. We're really looking at the complete picture, the data, the narrative, the explanation from the college and the coaches as to why perhaps a certain minimum wasn't met, and sign of improvement and sign of the college addressing any shortcomings. So it really is a complete picture as you work through this application. So again, you also have the college self-assessment, and that will be completed by the college. We think it would be beneficial if each college had a team that they put together to look at this self-assessment. And again, we certainly want colleges to be honest in their assessment of themselves. We really think that this is a useful assessment to guide the college in their constant improvement process. And so we hope that you will really take it and look at the criteria and assess your college accordingly. And then finally, the coach answers to the 2 questions regarding innovation and leading. And these will be collected from the coaches by ATD. I will be sending out notification to them shortly about this. And there is no further action needed on the colleges by this. This will be completely collected by Achieving the Dream. The colleges do not need to collect anything from their coaches regarding these questions. Then the criteria for performance. This is the student success data and the data charts that I mentioned. We are asking for data on 2 Achieving the Dream student success measures over 3 or more years, and we are expecting to see some sort of improvement over the 3 years. Of course, some fluctuation is understandable, but it must be explained. And we are hoping that each college is able to submit data on 2 different Achieving the Dream student success measures. Again, the data templates are provided, the Excel spreadsheet, and we hope that this will make the data collection process a little bit more streamlined, and that it will also help us understand your data better. There are also sections in the application for data on interventions and initiatives that are attributed to the success in the data. This includes the number and percentage of students over the years, and then there's also, narrative also on this data and other progress of the college. We do give space in the application for up to 3 interventions or initiatives. If you would like to talk about more interventions or initiatives, you can do so, but there's a bit of a burdensome copy and paste issue there. I'm hoping that 3 interventions or initiatives, questions works for each college, but if not, please just let me know and we can work with you. We'll also be asking for data on scaling. Scaling was, something that the review team really identified as needing to be escalated in importance in even the initial Leader College application. So we have done that in the initial Leader College application, and we'll be doing it again in the recertification application. In this case, we are using the Sum to More to Most framework that was released by MDC Inc. based on the Developmental Education Initiative, and we have assigned percentages to these. For those of you who applied for the Catalyst Fund, you'll see that these are the same percentages that we assigned in the Catalyst Fund RFP. So we are asking, whether an intervention or initiative that a college is talking about is serving 25% or less of the target student population, 25.1 to 60% of the target population, or more than 60% of the target student population. So the timeline for this. We released the application on October 23rd. I know that some people had issues with receiving the email announcing this, and I've been working hard to send individual emails to those that our reports say have not opened this application. So please do let me know if you did not receive that email so that we can be sure that our records are up to date for your contact information. The applications are due to Achieving the Dream by November 30th. As will be the coach questions. So there's, again, no action that needs to happen from the colleges here. This is completely ATD collecting information from the coaches. A few things to note about general instructions. Please do read the application instructions carefully. There's a lot of detail and guidance in the instructions for the application that I haven't gone over here because we would be here all day, and I think that it's probably easier for people to read it. So just be sure to read it carefully before you start completing the application. Please do answer all questions and in the format provided. So there are narrative boxes for some of the questions, so please do go ahead and use those boxes. And then finally, as you're naming your documents to upload, and the upload instructions will be available on the recertification application page, I think by November 14th. As you're naming your documents, just make sure that you have the college name, the description, and the date in your document names. This will really help Achieving the Dream because we download these documents, and you can imagine that getting 20 documents downloaded that say Leader College recertification application, it helps when the name of the college and the date is involved there. And just finally, I really do want to emphasize that this is, this is the first time we're doing this Leader College recertification process, and so please don't hesitate to ask questions about the application or about the process. I'm here, our ATD staff is here to assist in any way possible, and we'd rather have you ask questions than turn in an application that we then have to go back and get additional information from you on. So please do ask questions throughout the process, and also please do know that this really is a whole picture that we're trying to get here. And we really ask that, you know, we hope you have the data to submit and the, you know, meet all the criteria, but we are willing to work with each college during this first round of recertification. So with that, I know I went through a lot of information. I mostly just want to get feedback and questions from everyone. So you can either raise your hand or type a question into the question pane, and we can go ahead and answer your questions. Are there any questions, Meredith, that you see? Yes. I have a question from Joyce Romano. Okay, Joyce Romano has a question. And the question is, how can we see the coach's 2012 evaluation? So Joyce is asking about the coach assessment that's been done. Achieving the Dream has all of that information. So, you know, we'll contact you if there's, you know, if there's some issue with the minimum requirements. You know, at this point, we just keep it all with the college's file, and it is between Achieving the Dream and the coaches. Do we have any other questions? We have a question from Donna Stanley. Okay. If a college does not receive certification this year, can it reapply after the 3-year data is available for 2 measures? The question is, if a college does not receive recertification, maybe Donna, can I unmute you, because I have a few clarifying questions about that. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Donna. Hopefully you can. Donna, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Great.
here. Can you hear?
I can hear you, yes.
The question is, you've moved up the expectation for the number of measures in which you need to show progress. When we were certified, it was 1. Now it's 2. If you do not show 3 years of successive improvement on 2 measures, and you want to continue working on your Achieving the Dream work so that you can reach that benchmark, are you allowed, if you're not recertified this year, can you be allowed to reapply?
Yes, definitely. If you don't meet recertification this year, of course, you can reapply. But I would encourage you, before you even kind of assume that you wouldn't make it or not apply, to reach out to me, and we can kind of discuss your situation and see what data you do have.
Okay. Well, I was not going to assume we would not be recertified, but you always like to know what the backup position would be.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. You know, if for some reason you apply and the recertification isn't made, then we would work with the college to continue their path to recertification. Great. Any other questions about the process, the application? I don't believe that I was that clear. There have to be questions. Fred, Fred thinks you were clear. Oh, God. Thank you, Fred. Question, is there any flexibility around November 30th? The question is if there's any flexibility around the November 30th due date. There is some flexibility around that based on the college's situation. I will say that it does take a fair amount of ATD staff time to review the applications, and so we've built in that November 30th time so that we can, you know, spend you know, much of December and a little bit of January before DREAM reviewing the applications. So if you need an extension, just get in touch with me and we can talk about each college's specific situation.
Sarah, we also have a comment that folks will likely have questions once they get through all of the documents. And so we certainly want to reiterate that we are available to answer questions once you've read through the application instructions.
Yes, that's true. I mean, at any time, just reach out to us. Anne, it seems like you have your hand raised, so I'm going to unmute you. Anne, are you there?
Yes, I am. I was just asking, when will we be notified of the status of the review of our application?
So part of that does depend on the applications that we get in, and because this is a new application process, I want to allow enough cushion, but we are hoping that by the end of January at the latest we would be notifying you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Sarah, we have a couple extra additional questions. One question specifically on scaling data, and the question is, where is the data on scaling reported? Is it in Excel?
The data on scaling is actually reported within the narrative. So the question is, in case you didn't hear Meredith, where the data on scaling is reported in the application. And that data is within the narrative. There are questions related to scaling and a table that includes you know, the number of students and the percentage of those students compared to total enrollment and target population. That's all within the narrative part of the application.
An additional question. I don't see the mention of the $10,000 membership fee in the application. Has that been eliminated?
The question is about the $10,000 participation fee that in the application. So the participation fee is actually not related to Leader College status. So you're not paying $10,000 to be a Leader College. You're paying $10,000 to be part of the Achieving the Dream Network and be part of the benefits of being part of this national reform network. So that's probably why you don't see it mentioned in the application. However, to continue as a Leader College, in addition to you know, continue to receive the benefits and the privileges that a Leader College receives, you do need to be an active member, meaning that you need to continue to pay your participation fees. Any other questions?
Sarah, this is Carol.
Sorry.
Could I just add to that?
Sure, please.
Yeah, thanks. We know this has been a confusing issue for a long time. We've tried hard to make it clear what the $10,000 is for and what it is not for. When you choose as a college to continue your association with Achieving the Dream beyond your initial commitment period, whether that was 3 years, 5 years, or whatever your initial period was, then we ask that you pay $10,000, which is the cost, is actually a discounted rate of the cost of services that we continue to provide, like sending the coaches out to visit each year, like giving you several comp registrations at DREAM, like continuing to give you access to the monthly communication program information or public information officer calls, and access to all the things that are in our network, our research base, the priority registrations for any optional learning events, and so forth. So $10,000 covers those kinds of services and things that you get because you choose to stay an active member in Achieving the Dream. Separate from that is the whole matter of Leader College status, which is an earned status by a college that is performing at a high level, and we'd like to give you that special recognition which comes with special benefits and also responsibilities. But there's no cost that you pay to be a leader college. You get to be a leader college because you earned it based on your performance. So we kind of hope this will help. This has been a long-standing misunderstanding about it. And at the same time, it's true that when you are a leader college, to use that designation, to qualify for the special perks, the opportunities for regrants, you must stay active in the network, and that does mean you pay a participation fee to reserve all those services. I hope that helps, and I hope it doesn't further confound the confusion. But think of Leader College as a status that is earned, and think of being in the network as a set of services that you receive that cost you $10,000 a year.
Thank you, Carol. And there was one more question regarding this that I think could use some clarification, and it's that the application says that the college has to pay for the coach's annual visit before recertification. And so I think with actually, Carol, your explanation really helps to clarify that statement that you know, the annual coach's visit is paid for by that participation fee. So because you know, you had your annual visit last year and we're using the assessment that the coaches made from that visit, we have that information already. I hope that answers that question about the coach's visit. I think I'm getting that question again about the application says that the college has to pay for the coach's annual visit. This is in addition to the participation fee is the question, and it's part of the participation fee is having the coach's visit. So sorry for the confusion about that wording in the application.
So in other words, absolutely no additional money is required from you at this time to apply for recertification. If you are in good standing with Achieving the Dream, you don't have to pay any money right now.
Great. Do we have any other questions or people who want to comment? Raise your hand.
We have an additional question.
Okay.
The question is, have the feedback letters for our last annual report gone out?
I'll let Meredith answer that one.
And the answer is nearly all of the feedback letters for the annual reports have gone out. That the letters were addressed to the college president, and the core team lead was also copied on the feedback letter. If you need an additional copy of your feedback letter, please contact info@achievingthedream.org, or you can just email Sarah and we'll be able to get you a copy of that letter. An additional question, when will the webinar be archived and how can it be accessed?
So as soon as the webinar is done, we will be posting the recording, and then I will send out a link to everyone so that they can access the recording. You know, again, those people who are not necessarily receiving our emails, if it got stuck in your spam folder, the email will go out the same way. So, you know, I would say if you haven't received the link by, you know, Monday, then we'll work to send you personal emails. But I do, for those of you that I've been in contact with about the emails getting stuck in your spam, I think you've been working to adjust your spam filter settings so that our emails don't get stuck. So hopefully by Monday you should receive the link for the recording, if not sooner. Any other questions?
Yes, an additional question. Sarah, can you provide any specifics regarding the 2 questions that the coaches will be asked to answer?
Will pretty much be, I don't have the questions in front of me right now, but they are written and the form is almost ready to be sent to the coaches. It's basically, whether the coaches, believe or what's their assessment of the college's ability to innovate around, changing needs of their students. And then the second one is just, and then again, some, a brief narrative supporting your assessment. And then the same type of brief narrative and assessment of the college's ability and history of leading within the Achieving the Dream network. So supporting other colleges, presenting on Achieving the Dream, values and principles, that sort of thing. And that will hopefully go out by the end of today or Monday. Any other questions? Any other questions, Meredith?
It doesn't appear that there are any other questions at this time.
Okay.
Sarah, this is Sarah. This is Carol.
Yes. Hi, Carol.
Hi. Since there's a lull in questions, or maybe we've got all of them answered, I just wanted to add my thanks to yours, which you expressed at the top of the webinar. Thanks to the committee that worked with you and others at ATD to develop this recertification process. I think those that were on that committee have a deeper understanding and hopefully respect for how challenging it is to develop an instrument and a process that's fair to everybody and really does come out at the other end with a way of assessing that there's been real progress and a continued strong commitment and action on behalf of the students. There's a lot of factors that go into consideration. It's not a real easy yes or no kind of application or decision, and I think the committee found that out as they dug into this and tried to develop something that was really powerful. The other thing I would just reiterate is that the decision to have ask for progress on 2 outcomes this year rather than the one that you already were able to accomplish 3 years ago was because the committee and others strongly felt it was important for leader colleges to continue to excel and improve, that it was not good enough anymore to just stay where you were and reach the first bar that we had set within Achieving the Dream. So the practitioners were telling us, the volunteers were telling us, they felt it important to up the ante, and that's why you see the major change in this process over what you saw 3 years ago. At the same time, our coaches and so forth said, be careful about doing that too fast, too soon when colleges haven't been told that criteria, and therefore make sure that you have enough flexibility not to inappropriately harm anybody's chances for recertification. So thanks again to the committee that worked with us. Thank you especially to Sarah, to Meredith, and others who've been working on this so hard. And I hope that all of you are hearing in Sarah's words today that there's a genuine commitment to working with you on this, because it is the first time that you've been asked to go through a recertification, and it's the first time we've had an opportunity to really test and see how good this will be. Our hope is that all of you will be able to get through this and be recertified for another 3 years. That is our aspiration, and we want very much to to help you reach that goal and to keep the integrity and the honor that goes with being a leader college. It really does mean something, and we want to respect what it means. So thanks, Sarah. Thanks to everybody else, and thanks, Sarah, for giving me this chance to say that.
Sure. Thank you, Carol. I think that was a great summary of the deep look that was really done by the committee, so thanks for adding that. So I just want to briefly check in with Meredith again. Are there any other questions?
At this point, there are no additional questions.
Okay. So we ended early, but I hope that everyone would feel completely comfortable reaching out to me with any additional questions. I know some of you haven't had a chance to really dive into the application, so as you're working through it, please do, you know, drop me an email, give me a call, and we will answer your questions as soon as possible and get you any kind of feedback that you need. And with that, I want to thank Meredith and Carol and Kennard for joining me, and please, you know, watch out for the link for the recording. Thanks, everyone.
The organizer has